Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show, training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning, Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse, Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Jumping at liberty to music, making our Morgan horses our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles area. Semi on the big steps. Morgan horse Sadie doing obstacles rainlessly. Morgan Sadie learns how to pull a cart. Mini Zebu heifer Susie being trained to drive a cart. Bull Rusty learning to pull a harrow. Jill shows how she trains thoroughbred Lotus to do inside turns, to accept sacking out with training tools, and to move his hind and forequarters upon request.
Jill is working with thoroughbred Lotus on trying to get his two eyes and to get him to move his body parts according to her request. And she's using the principles she's learned from Clinton Anderson in his ultimately 7-part series on working with a thoroughbred who came straight from the track, who knew very little about being light, being focused, and being soft, laterally especially. And Jill is studying those DVDs and coming out here and trying things with both thoroughbred Lotus and with her Morgan mare Demi. And we're going to try, whenever we can, to come out and see her progress. And Jill, can you explain what you've learned? We all learn from each other learning. So it's okay to be confused. It's okay not to get the right answer, as long as we know the road we're taking, the goal we're going for, and the sub-objectives that we need to work on to get there.
Hey, Lotus. Well, Lotus is also an off-the-track thoroughbred, but I've had him for about 6 years, but I've never done any of this work with him. And a lot of times he doesn't have a lot of respect for me on the ground. So when I watched this DVD of Clinton Anderson, I thought, wow, if I had the opportunity to do this with Lotus when I first got him, it might have made a big difference in our training relationship. So I thought, well, you're never too late, so I would try it with Lotus. And what I'm doing first is using the flag that I've made just out of my dressage whip and some duct tape and some plastic bags to try to teach him to do an inside turn when we're lunging. And I had never learned the concept of the inside turn. I always let him turn to the outside, but Clinton Anderson always says that 2 eyes are better than 2 heels, so that makes sense to me. And so that's what we're going to try to do. We've This is the third day I've done this with Lotus, and he's already showing that he's learning. So I'm just going to go ahead and show what we've been doing. He's kind of meandering around right now, but I'm going to get him to start working. Come on, Lotus. So what I'm doing here is I'm staying at his drive line, which is kind of behind, I guess, where the girth would be to move him forward. And using the flag. And when I want him to make the inside turn the way Clinton Anderson explained it, is I want to move in front of him, in front of his shoulder, and then back. And point him off the direction I want him to go. And you can see, he did that. He didn't do it the first day we tried it, though. It took a while. And then I'm back working him from his drive line again, and then I'm going to come in front and go back, and you can see he's really getting this. And like I said, it took a while the first day. This is our third day. And I'm going to try again. Come in front, point him off. See if he makes a bad decision, and I can show you what we do. But okay, see, now I'm coming at him. He's going the wrong way. And I want to get him back. But that was really my fault, because I moved forward towards him instead of stepping away. So I come in front and I step away. See, it works. Step in front. Nope. Send him off. Step in front and away. He's kind of stuck in the corner. He's looking at me. Yep, good boy. Good boy. Okay. So we'll let him be done with that, and we can go on to the next exercise.
The first day I saw you doing this, you were out of breath and telling me how much it was doing for your exercise as well, which when you listen to Clinton and to other natural horsemanship trainers like Ken McNabb doing this kind of thing, you can hear that they're out of breath too, but that's okay. And you know, when you back away like that, what you're actually doing is giving them a visual open door, right? And they're trying to focus on you. That's why they're giving you 2 eyes. That's why you wait for 2 eyes. And then once they've turned, then you put yourself back in position to ask for forward motion.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know all that. I was kind of surprised that it worked so well. So I'm real happy with that. So I'm going to put his halter on for the next exercise that Clinton did. And again, this is the third day that we've done this. Not in a row, but this is the third time. And what he did was he emphasized that you want your tools to be, your horse not to be afraid of the tools you're using. And so you want to, I think he used the word desensitize your horse to your tools and show that they're not there to hurt your horse. And so what he did was he used we have some tractor work going on behind me, so that's what Lotus is looking at. He used the rope and kind of the end of the lead rope and just flung it over the horse, started on their back and then towards their hind end. Maybe you can't see me on this side, but and you can see Lotus is okay with this.
Was he from the get-go?
No, he thought I wanted him to like almost lunge and move, and he said, I'm using that might have been a little hard because this has a little leather on the end. So that actually, I'm going to do the hind legs though, just a little bit lighter. And one of the things Clinton said was a lot of horses are really sensitive to having their hind legs touched, and so you can see he's flinching a little bit, but he's standing. So I'm going to tell him he's good. Good boy. And then he emphasized that you got to do everything on the other side because each side is different. It's like learning it new. So we'll come over on this side and try the same thing. I'm just going to fling it up lightly over him. He's okay with that. The first day he kind of kept moving, and what I did is I just kept following him. I didn't take the pressure off. I didn't stop doing it until he stopped moving, and then I immediately stopped. But today you can see 3 days. Well, there he's moving a little bit, so I'll keep at him. He kind of stopped though. He's all right. Good boy. 3 days must be the charm for Lotus.
Some cowboys say desensitize is the same thing as sacking out. Is there a difference? Are they synonymous? Well, we'll just think about that as we work. Are we really just sacking them out to these things? Well, I think one of the reasons that the natural horsemanship trainers use the word desensitize is because you then move on to sensitize. Which is, okay, you have your arm extension, for example, and you want to make nice with it so that you desensitize them, but then you want to use it to give a message.
To give a message.
So you're sensitizing them to it. So I think desensitize and sensitize are just a little bit more than sacking out.
Okay, now next, he actually took it and went right on his head, and Lotus is a little head sensitive, so this might be hard for him. Yeah, you can see he's a little bit nervous about this. But I'm not hurting him. I'm just doing it lightly, telling him, you know, you can stand things. You know, if you're going to go under a tree or something and it brushes on your head, you're okay. This is quite good. He was pretty upset with this the first time I did it.
You're actually getting his confidence, you see, and that's part of what you're trying to do in natural horsemanship. Respect and confidence.
Good boy.
Through patience and repetition. And gentleness. Very nice.
Good boy, Lotus. So I'm going to move on to the next exercise, which requires the use of a white stick. Is that what it's called, Sonia?
Arm extension?
An arm extension.
Of any sort. We've picked up pieces of PVC, just branches, the other end of a manure fork, whatever it takes to extend your arm.
And I'm just going to make nice with it and rub him with it. And he's pretty okay with that, all over his body. And I'm going to use the little whippy side of it. Do the same thing kind of with it. And he's all good with that. So the next exercise, this will be only the second day we did it. We did it once the other day. And I think he explained it as like having him disengage his hind end.
Yes.
And to move his hind quarters around his front.
Yes. You're using the front as a pivot. The hind quarters will pivot around the front, and for the most effective such body part movement, you want to make sure that one leg crosses over the other in the hind end. Reason being that if you've got a push button on that kind of maneuver and you get into trouble anywhere, on the trail, in the arena, on the road, and your horse is responsive to that hind end disengagement, once their legs are crossed over, they're not going to bolt. They're not going to rear. They're not going to buck. They can't. It's physically impossible. So what you've done is you've engaged their thinking side of their brain quickly enough so that you can circumvent them becoming reactive and right-brained and doing what naturally they are equipped to do when they're concerned or scared.
Okay, so this is only the second day I've done this, so I haven't perfected the technique myself, but the way I understand it is there's a passive position you take with your horse where you're kind of standing, you're not driving them or asking them to do anything, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But then I want to move into a more active stance, and the way Clinton did it, well, I'll do it once. So I want to kind of crouch down, kind of head towards his hind end, and try to get him to move it and give him...
Nice. And just one right answer like that. He did cross over.
He did? Okay.
Yes, yes,
Good boy.
yes. One right step, and he gets reward, and the pressure's removed, and then soon he'll be doing 2 or 3 or however long you're asking.
Let's try again. Good boy.
Yes.
Go for 2. Good
Yes.
boy. Okay, so I think he can do more. And I'm keeping his neck a little bent. Keeping him. He's doing good. Good boy. Good boy. All right, let's try the other side. See if he has a side that's harder. This side's harder for me. Good boy. Good.
He's giving you some right answers.
Yes, good boy.
Being that, that this is kind of a new exercise for him, I'd say, stop and give him reward as soon as you get ever so slight the right answer.
And that's a good example of how we get kind of dialed into wanting more and more.
Yes.
Sonia kind of had to stop me there and remind me that he was giving the right answer. And that's good. It's easy to keep going and asking for more without stopping to acknowledge what you've already gotten from the horse. So
and soon when he understands what your position and your eyes are, he'll just do it for you. You won't have to do all of this lifting and turning his head. He'll just say, oh, I know what you want me to do.
Good boy.
Good. That's good.
Good boy.
Very nice.
Okay, so that's moving the hind end around the front end. And the next lesson was moving the front end around the hind end. And I only watched that once on the video, and I didn't feel like I got a complete understanding of it, but Sonia's going to see. She can help me here. So I think the concept is the same, except I'm going to be working at his shoulder instead of his hind end.
Not only that, but I would say if you're feeling like he's not getting the message by working at his shoulder, visual block on this side. You're closing the door on this side. He's going to automatically want to move his forequarters away from the visual block.
And can I help? So I'm going to move him to the left.
Yeah, I wouldn't pull with your line. I would more push with your arm extension in your visual block. And tell them what you want. Use a word that you're going to use consistently. Like we like to say when we're working, Rosie and I, we just agree what the word is going to be. We say front over, front over,
front over, front over.
Okay, he's kind of stuck.
Front
all
over.
Right, give him a visual block. Front over.
Front over. Front over.
He doesn't understand. It's very obvious. He doesn't understand yet. It's not that he doesn't want to do it. He wants to understand. All right. So maybe, yes, there.
Front over.
You ask nicely. You ask gently.
Front
then
over.
maybe you apply a little bit more pressure. But he is moving forward. He's not moving his front.
No.
He's stepping forward. Again, because he doesn't understand. So how about going toward a fence where he can't step forward? You see, you're making it hard on yourself by doing it in the middle of the arena.
So, like here?
Go towards a fence, especially one where I can maybe get some video of what you're doing.
Is this good?
Yes. And then you're going to use as much expression with your body and your visual block as you can. And then one ever so slight over in the direction gets reward. Say over.
Over.
Front over.
Front over. Front over. Front over.
How about tapping them a little bit harder?
Front over.
With your okay.
Front over.
He moved over with his hind legs. Okay. What we say is we try to use rhythmic pressure with more and more emphasis.
Front over.
And if that doesn't work, then
Front
you can
over.
go to steady pressure.
Front
and then
over.
remove it immediately when you get ever so slight the right answer.
Wow, he's not responding at all. Front over. Front over. He just thinks I'm kind of...
He doesn't understand.
Front over. Try the other side. You can see what I'm doing. Might take 2 people.
Yes, it might be helpful to have somebody out there, which I can leave the camera on
Front
and
over.
come out there.
Front over. Front over. Well, okay, you can do it this way a little bit better.
But he's going back.
Front over.
One step. Yes.
Good
Yes.
boy.
Yes. One
boy.
proper step over. You want the outside foot to step over
Good
the
boy.
inside front.
Good boy.
Okay, and he'll soon understand what the right answer is if you give him reward and remove the pressure. Now I would straighten him out again,
Okay.
and maybe in the same direction, do it again.
Front over. Front over. Front over. Front over. Front over.
Yes.
Good
Yes.
boy.
Good boy, Lotus.
Wow, I knew this would be hard for him, but I didn't think it'd be this difficult for him. But Clinton Anderson definitely said that getting the front end is harder than the rear end.
Right.
So I'm going to try the other side again. Think I should try it back on the other side?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. And ever so slight the right answer. And consider this lesson number 1. There's more you can do with your body to make him understand
I'll try
that
it here so you
that
can see.
front is supposed to step over. You can stomp your way towards him,
Okay.
right? You can lift your elbows. I
Okay.
call it the penguin movement.
Okay. Come on, come up a little bit here. Front over.
Yeah.
Front
yeah.
over.
More in his eyes.
That's back, though.
Yeah, but that's back, right? So he just has to understand, not back.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Okay, I'm going to leave the camera here and take off my earphones and come
Front
and
over.
try to help you.
Front over. Yeah, back. This is definitely the difficult. Come on, step up.
Okay, what I'd like you to do is you handle the lead line,
Okay.
and I'm going to use the arm extension. He's licking his lips. Okay, and I'm going to do rhythmic pressure, and with a little bit more energy if he doesn't respond. And you actually duck under his neck and pull him over so he understands.
Okay.
Okay, now if he starts to back up, I'm
Yeah.
going to use my arm extension to show him no, not
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Okay, so you do the request.
What was
Front over.
Front over. Front over. Front over.
Yes!
Good
Whoa.
boy. Whoa.
Whoa, okay. Come on
boy.
back here, straighten him out against the fence.
In his nose. Oh, I know. Yeah, this is a good exercise. Let me straighten him out a little
Straighten him out. Good.
bit. Oh. Front over. Front over. I don't want him to turn, though, right?
Right, no, just step over.
Okay.
Step over.
Step
and he
over.
had one step over. Now, we call it bottle topping if they also move their back legs
Uh-huh.
when you're trying to get the front legs
Okay.
to move. Well, okay, it's called topping or bottle topping. Eventually, he'll understand. No, the back legs pivot.
Pivot.
The front legs move. Okay, try it again.
Front over. Front over. Front.
Whoa.
Good
Good.
boy. That was very
Good,
good.
Lotus. Yes.
boy.
Now go to the duck under and come back. See if you can do it just with
Okay.
yeah, just with the request. Try
Front
not
over.
to pull on his halter.
Front
the
over.
halter. No.
No, I need a.
Okay. All right. Let me stand over there and help you.
Come on.
Okay. This time I'm going to do a visual block when you ask for it.
Front over. Front over. Front over.
That's it. That's it. Except he's going back. So we say no. Good. Yes. Yes. Okay. And you stop.
So, good boy.
Okay, bring him back. I'll do the rhythmic pressure. That seemed to work better on his
Better.
shoulder.
Yeah.
Whatever works. Whatever technique in the grab bag that works. Let's get him over here
Get
a little
him
bit
more.
closer to the
Yeah.
gate.
No, this way.
Remember, this is your second attempt at trying to do this?
Oh, no, this is the first time we tried
Oh.
the shoulder.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right, good. All right, I'm going to do rhythmic pressure. He seemed to understand that.
Front over.
Now, let me...
Front
yes,
over.
Yes, let me suggest that. Right. Over.
Front over.
Over. Very
Good
nice.
boy. Good boy. That helped.
Think about making your presence
bigger,
where he can see you.
Okay.
Try to put yourself in his visual world.
Okay.
Understand where he can and can't see you.
Okay.
And make yourself obvious.
Bigger.
Yes, bigger that's another way to say it. It does wonders.
Good boy, Lotus. All right, so I think that those I have to watch further on the DVD to pick up the other lessons, and you can see that we're probably going to need a lot more work on this. So maybe after the third day, we'll be in the same place that we were working the hind end, which seems to be a lot easier for him.
And you certainly see that he is willing and trying.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't done it in the past, it's not because of any physical reason.
Yeah.
More than likely, it's that he just didn't understand. Put yourself in his world, and you can use natural horsemanship methods to explain to him what you want. What are the right answers? And I hang around Lotus a lot because I live here where he lives. And I have never seen him done one thing, not one thing, that is aggressive toward me.
Good.
I always watch when I'm around him so that in case I scare him and he becomes reactive, then I'm not in his way. But he is a very gentle horse, just wants to understand. And you've seen him do that these last 15, 20 minutes that we've been videoing. So, we'll keep going, and I'd love to have you work with Demi for another time, and we'll see. Demi is trained in ranch horse versatility and might be more willing, but then again, maybe she doesn't remember what moving the 4 quarters over means, so we'll do the same drill, and we'll see how fast she learns. I'm pretty sure she'll move her hindquarters for you, though.
Yeah.
And remember, Demi has done cow work, so moving the 4 quarters will be much more familiar to her. That's it for today. www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty and Susie, www.thesocolos.com.